Yesterday, the Dallas Cowboys made a trade for Quinnen Williams. They gave up a second-round pick this year, a first-round pick next year, and Mozzie Smith. The Cowboys get an absolute superstar in Quinnen Williams. He's one of the best defensive tackles in football. He turns 28 in December. He's under contract through the 2027 season, so you have him for a long time. He is the best run defender in football, according to PFF. He's graded out at a 90.8, which is first out of 124. He still has some juice as a pass rusher, although he has one sack this year. His pressure numbers are still fine. He really offers everything you have invested in the defensive tackle position. Obviously, you traded Micah Parsons. You've spent first-round picks. You've spent these premium picks on these defensive tackles that you've swung and missed on. You invested more assets into a surefire superstar in Quinnen Williams. Again, one of the best run defenders in football. You're paying him about $26 million a year to be one of the best in the business. Now, you have a bit of a, I don't want to say problem, but you have a situation in this defensive tackle room for sure. The question that I have, or the situation that is approached itself is, how are you going to get and maximize all three of Quinnen Williams, Osa Odighizuwa, and Kenny Clark? They're all these interior defensive linemen, and I think the answer is pretty simple. You see a four-man front here from the Jets. I think Dallas should go to five, run five-man fronts, and then if you don't want to do that, slide Osa out here. Maybe he's smaller. He can probably play on the outside, not quite as an edge rusher, but maybe a five tech, something along those lines. And you keep Quinnen Williams, you keep Kenny Clark on the inside, or you take out some of these big guy snaps like Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark has struggled a little bit at times this year. So has Osa. So Quinnen Williams can be your big one, your number one interior defensive tackle. And then you have your other guys that maybe you can share a little bit of snaps, but you're paying these guys a lot of money now. Right, you have a big situation next offseason where I think you end up cutting probably Kenny Clark. I feel like he is the odd man out. But for the rest of this season, at least, you get all three of them. All three of them offer a high level of football. And I'm pretty excited to see how the Cowboys like to use these defensive tackles, or if they will use these defensive tackles. Obviously, the Cowboys are 3-5-1. Making it to the playoffs, even with Logan Wilson, even with Quinnen Williams, still a long shot. This is a team that can, in my opinion, only lose one more game the rest of the season. They've got a really hard schedule coming up, so maybe the playoffs not in the picture right now. Quinnen Williams can help you next year. He can help you the year after that. You kept both your first-round picks. I assume they'll trade that second one, trade down, maybe still even in the first round, but to get some assets on day two. So Dallas looks good, and I actually think that this could be an offseason where they unironically go all in. You don't have your first-round pick in 2027, assuming you have a worse record than the Packers, because that first-round pick, the Jets get whichever one is higher. So you're trying to beat out the Packers, right? And I think it will create some sense of urgency. This is a Dallas team and a Dallas front office that has relied on those first-round picks hitting. Now there's a chance where you don't have the high one, right? You're going to have a first-round pick, but it's not going to be anything that's going to be high. I think 2026 is a massive time for free agency. You need to hit on these draft picks. And then Dallas all of a sudden is shaping up to be maybe a real contender as they just need this defense to be average. But let's get back to Quinnen Williams. Quinnen Williams can be your anchor in this young defense in 2026. You're probably going to have some draft picks at all three levels. Maybe they take another edge rusher. Maybe they take another linebacker, and they'll have to do something in the secondary because it has been a mess all season. Quinnen Williams is your surefire anchor. Every single game that Quinnen Williams plays, you know he's out there and you know he's going to perform at a high level. So to get something in the interior when Dallas for years has been washed out of it is absolutely massive. We all like to dog on Matt Eberfluses. We do, and some of it is rightfully deserved. He has struggled this year as a play caller. But I had hammered it home and home, time and time again. Matt Eberfluses is not going to blitz. He's not going to run a lot of man coverage. He's going to try and get pressure with four. And at the beginning of the season, or before the season, that didn't sound like a bad idea when you had Micah Parsons on the edge. We traded him. There was nobody that could get home with four because the pass rush wasn't good enough. Quinnen Williams is the guy that fits Matt Eberfluses' scheme. Right, a guy that can win one-on-ones. He can win and help you win with four. So you get a big answer in your interior, but you also help your current defensive coordinator out in Matt Eberfluses, as Quinnen Williams fits and is everything you need.